Hi, I'm Wayne Wally, Editor-in-Chief of Rental Management. I'm here today with David Nicoll. He's the Marketing Director for Perkins Engines, and we're going to discuss a little bit about engine technologies and what's going on in this area of interest. David, welcome and thank you for joining us. And first, I just want to ask you, it may be more in Europe than it is in North America, but there's been a lot of interest in zero emission stuff. How does that impact an engine manufacturer like Perkins?
Well, emissions are very important to all engine manufacturers, but Perkins is especially focused on emissions. And we do it in many different ways. So we are working, we finished Tier 4 final here in the United States. We just launched Stage 5 engines in Europe, and we'll be highlighting many of those at Bauma this year. We're working on China 4 emissions. So across the emission standard to lower emissions. And we do that through many technologies, such as diesel particulate filters, SCR, and that lowers fuel economy to reduce emissions. The other thing that really helps many of our customers is downsizing. So they're able to downsize from a larger displacement engine to a smaller displacement engine. That improves fuel economy as well as emissions. And then, we look at other technologies such as hybrids, which we're going to talk about more at Bauma, actually.
Oh, okay. Do you ever see the electric engine displacing diesel or gas engines?
Well, I think we're starting to see. I saw an electric machine on the show floor today at JCB, and we're starting to see some very small machines, mini or micro machines that are all electric, and I think it will start there. We'll start with very small machines that can use some of the same components that you might see in the automotive industry. I think with the larger machines, you'll see more of hybrid solutions, just because the diesel engine is so efficient. Those technologies will work together over time.
Very good. Now, how has Tier 4 or how have Tier 4 engines changed? I mean, I remember years ago going to a seminar and one of the manufacturers talked about, here's how we got to Tier 4. And there was a diagram with all these things that got added to the engine. And when he finished talking about that, he said, now our goal is to take each one of those things off and still meet Tier 4 emission standards. Is that what's sort of going on at this point?
Well, I'll tell you what, when it comes to emission standards, at Perkins Engines and many engine manufacturers, we are focused on the application. So in some applications we will use a DPF and some we won't. And the emission standards are different at different horsepower. So the emission standards at 25 horsepower is different from 100 horsepower. So we really have a menu of what you might call solutions in order across SCR, DPF, EGR, and we fit it to the application. So we're working closely with the customers. I will say, though, that our emissions technology solutions, our after-treatment systems, are more efficient, smaller, and lighter weight. And we also give OEMs the opportunity to mount that after-treatment system on the engine or on the machine, again, fit to their application.
Now, with Perkins, what sort of product line do you have? Is it everything from the entire spectrum? Do you go from whatever it is, 24 horsepower on up to God knows what, 150 horsepower? Or what's your line like?
So yes, Perkins does have a very broad line of engines. Here we're showcasing some of our smaller engines. We're introducing a brand new engine today, the 1.1 turbo, which is 24 horsepower. And so we're excited about that. That fits many of the applications of the equipment that you'll see on the show floor. But our engine range with the Perkins starts at about a half a liter, and in industrial applications goes up to 18 liters. So it's a pretty broad range. Yeah. We also have some larger engines that we sell into the electric power segment. But for what you'd see today, we've got a very strong 1.5, 2 liter line. We've got a brand new Perkins Synchro 2.8 and 3.6 that we have in one of our OEMs today. And then kind of historically, we've had a really strong 4-liter, 7-liter lineup. But here at the ARA, across all the engine manufacturers, you're going to see a lot of 2 and 3 liter engines.
Yeah, okay. Well, who's your target customer? I mean, is it more the OEMs, or are you targeting the equipment rental stores for their replacement needs?
Well, that's a great question. So, in our industry, in the engine business, we have lots of customers. So, we're certainly targeting the OEMs as they move into Tier 4 final and Stage 5. We want to make sure that they have the right engine solution. But at the end of the day, we're focused on the end user. And the end user, in this case, is a rental company. And so we have a rental support program that allows rental companies to get access to technical information, tooling, parts for Perkins Engines, really to improve their utilization. We want to improve utilization for rental companies, improve their return on their investment, keep equipment that are Perkins powered up and running and out in the field.
Yeah, okay. Now, you talked a little bit about fuel economy a little earlier. Where are we at in fuel economy? I mean, when you went to Tier 4, a lot of what manufacturers or engine manufacturers are looking at, how can I make this engine more efficient so there's more of a reason to help the end user or the rental store save some money versus the extra cost of going to Tier 4?
Yeah, I think the fuel economy in our industry is getting better and better. Every time we introduce a new engine, the fuel economy is a little bit better, the performance is better. One of the ways that we're really improving fuel economy is back to power density. So in an application where a customer may have been using a 3-liter engine in the past, they're able to power that machine with a 2-liter engine and improve the fuel economy that way.
Now, you talked a little bit about the rental industry in one of your previous answers, but how does the equipment rental industry figure into the Perkins sales strategy?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, our OEMs are putting Perkins powered engines into their equipment, and we want to make sure that those engines are easy to maintain and keep up and running and out in the field for our rental companies. So we offer programs through the Perkins Rental Support Program that helps rental companies maintain those engines through having parts available, through online parts ordering, having technical information, having service tooling available. And so that just helps the rental company keep those engines up and running. And then we also offer a little bit of a sweetener by having a loyalty program, and you gain points like you would in a travel program. And so every time you register a Perkins engine in our loyalty program, a rental company gains points, and they can use those points to buy parts or buy tooling, that sort of thing.
Yeah, very good. Now, telematics is another buzzword for the industry, and every manufacturer on the show floor probably has some sort of telematics offering with when you buy their equipment. But does that impact you as the engine manufacturer, or is that more something the original equipment manufacturer has to deal with?
Well, that's a great question because I think it's both. I think, often with the bigger machines, it's more cost effective to put an expensive telematics solution on. But the rental industry is full of smaller powered machines like a light tower or a small genset. And we've introduced a new telematics system called the Smart Cap. It's only $50. You spin off the old oil cap and spin on the Perkins Smart Cap. It uses Bluetooth technology to connect to a phone, and then it connects to the My Engine app and allows the customer to track things like hours and location. But the My Engine app, even if you don't use the Smart Cap, by plugging in the serial number, it gives you information on where to find a distributor, when to do a service, what parts to order, that sort of thing. So we, as an engine manufacturer, are certainly focused on tech. In 2017, the Perkins Smart Cap won the Edison Gold Award as an example of how low-cost tech and tracking engines is important in this industry.
Yeah, that was one of those where you almost have to hit your forehead and go, "Why didn't I think of that?" I mean, it was just one of those brilliant things that when it came out, I just looked at it and went, "How simple is this?" And it's going to do everything people want at a really reasonable cost.
Yeah, it keeps the cost down. And it provides basic telematics information. But an interesting story, one of our young engineers in England developed a smart cap in his garage over the weekend. So I guess that's a testament to having an innovative culture at Perkins Engines, but we're really proud of him.
Now, when you talked about, the engine app and all that, you mentioned parts. How important are parts? I keep getting press releases these days about manufacturers who are opening more distribution centers so that parts can get to people faster. And I know uptime is so important to the rental industry. Maybe people are just listening, but have you expanded your parts department as well?
Absolutely. Recently, we opened up a new parts distribution center in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. That is from the manufacturing side. We also have 5 Perkins distributors here in North America, as well as about 100 second level dealers that are all stocking parts very close to our customers. And we've got a very we stay on top of that, both our distributors as well as our smaller dealers, making sure that they have the right parts in stock to provide access to both end users and rental companies when it's needed. We use a lot of data analytics to understand 2 things. One, how to make our engines better, and then 2, to understand our customers and meet them where they're at to make sure that that they're getting our parts, our engines, and our service in a way that's most efficient for them. We understand that uptime, or in a rental store's situation, utilization is makes a big impact on the bottom dollar.
Very good. Well, we've been speaking with David Nicoll of Perkins Engines, and appreciate you watching today. Thank you.